Hey guys, Lucas Grown. Wanted to talk today about open houses. Now, open houses are our favorite way for new and experienced agents to pick up new clients. Now, I know that some of you have had bad experiences with open houses before. Maybe you've tried them before and had no showings, or you had showings but everybody already had an agent, or maybe you can't get anybody to call you back after you've given out your business card to them. I get it. I've had bad open house experiences myself. But today, I hope that I can convince you of the ease and efficacy of getting clients through open houses. Now, let me start with this thought. You have a service helping people buy homes. And people coming to open houses have a need. They want to buy homes. You want clients? They are clients. It's kind of a match made in heaven. I'll take it a little bit more practical than that and tell you a story about one of our agents early in the brokerage's history. Our CEO recruited him. He was brand new to the industry, and he had a simple strategy that he executed on. Do opens every weekend. 4 a weekend, 2 hours each. Look for properties that appealed to first-time home buyers or people wanting new construction. He'd only put out 1 or 2 signs, and he didn't do a massive number of advertising. He didn't want a lot of people, just a couple of serious buyers. He didn't do sign-in sheets, and he focused on providing value. He was looking to get people who wanted to give him their info instead of just trying to collect names. He did 17 million in volume his first year on 30 plus transactions. Real estate is a numbers game. If you do enough open houses, you will find buyers. Now, maybe some of you are thinking, that's great, but I don't want to waste my time with people who aren't wanting to buy a house and they're just coming to be nosy neighbors. But what I want you to think about is, yes, neighbors, that's a listing, because we know that within 30 days, one of those neighbor homes is going to go up for sale. And there's no reason it shouldn't be your listing. Open houses help with this. Okay, I'm going to stop trying to convince you and move on to how we execute an open house to get clients. And hopefully by the end, you're gonna trust me enough to try out a couple our way and see if they don't change your business for the better. Today, we're gonna cover 3 things. We're gonna cover how to find and pick an open house, how to get ready and market an open house, and how to crush an open house and leave with clients. First, how to find and pick an open house. Where do you find an open house? Well, if you're at a firm with lots of listings, then it should be fairly easy. Simply do an MLS search of active homes in your market that belong to your office or firm. Now you have all the homes that are available to potentially host, and you just have to reach out to those listing agents. All right, so real quick, this is how on our MLS that you do a search for your office actives. And I just go down to the listing office ID, and sometimes you have to add or remove those fields in a lot of MLSs. I'm gonna add my office IDs there, and you can see we have 163 active homes. And so this is how we can tell what active homes we have in the area to pick from to do open houses. So guys, if your office doesn't have a ton of listings, I recommend first approaching agents outside your firm, but in the same brand. So RE/MAX agents asking RE/MAX agents if you can host their open homes. And if that doesn't give you enough opportunities to do open houses, feel free to reach out to firms outside of your brand. Now, when choosing from the options available, I typically recommend that agents new to the open house game go for homes that make sense for first-time home buyers in your market. This is not a hard and fast rule, but it is just generally easier to pick up a client if they've never had an agent in their life before. That's not totally to say at all that you're not gonna kill it at a $1 million open house. It's just a recognition that it's harder to pick up clients in that way if you haven't done a lot of open houses. I would also look for homes that have a compelling reason for new people to come to it. They've had a price drop, or it's new to the market, or something like that. If it's been on the market with no activity for 3 months, that fact isn't gonna change just because you're holding it open. Here's how I would evaluate the current homes that we have active in our firm. So now that we have this search done, I'm actually gonna look everything up by stat date to see the most recent occurrences, because once again, we don't want to do an open house that hasn't had anything happen for 3 weeks. So it needs to have had a price drop, or new to the market, or an update, or just come back on the market from pending, or something along those lines. And so I organize by stat date. Today's the 26th here, so we've got cumulative days on market 19, so I'm guessing this might have been a price drop. So, and this is an area I have no problem going and doing an open house. Oh, nope, it went from pending inspection to active. So I would probably reach out now to Marie here and take a look to see what happened, get some more information, and then ask if they're willing to do an open house. Now, this is a great first-time home buyer home. In this area, it's a good price point. So for me, this is likely to bring in somebody who might not have an agent. Now, some other things to know about picking open houses is that while yes, you can do these, the $1.3 million home here, this is much less likely to have somebody just waltz in that doesn't have a buyer's agent with them. And so we just have to be aware of that if we're gonna do a home like this. Now there's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can find a home with some open houses scheduled. We'll do it this way. Okay guys, I found a house with open houses scheduled. These are scheduled for Saturday, Sunday. So I have two options here. Once again, this is a home that it wouldn't be weird to have somebody coming in without a buyer's agent. Now I would reach out to Yusuf or David and see if they're already planning on doing these open houses themselves, and if not, or even if they are, would they prefer you go out and do it? And if they are already gonna do it and they wanna do it, it's totally okay to ask them if they would like you to hold a Friday evening open house for this. Twilight open houses are great simply because generally somebody that has an agent isn't going to get off work at 5 p.m. and drive out to this open house through traffic. So you know that if they're doing that, they don't really have access to this house any other way. So it's another way to do open houses, even if there's some already scheduled. And for the agents that are the listing agents, this is just a great way for them to just show their client how much they're working on their behalf. We're holding 3 open houses this weekend. But generally shoot for open houses that are easy to do by yourself, so no high-rise condos. Shoot for houses that are purchasable by somebody who would be a first-time home buyer or appeal to that person, and you will very quickly start getting clients. Now your MLS system will likely look a little bit different than mine. However, this will give you a good idea of the broad strokes of doing a search and picking the right open house for you. Next up, we're gonna talk about getting ready for the open and letting people know about it. So first things first, you need to learn about the house. Go online, hop on the MLS and learn the basic stats, your build, remodel year, beds, baths, square footage, etc. Then make sure you know about the area. What school is it? What parks are nearby? Where's the closest teriyaki joint? If you don't know what teriyaki is, it's a Seattle thing. These are all conversation starters that we're probably gonna need for the coming open house. Once you've done your research, take to the internet and make sure to tell your sphere that you're holding a super cool open house and that they shouldn't feel bad about stopping by and checking out the digs. Don't try to sell them on the home, just show them that you're excited to hold it open and that those who are interested are more than welcome to come by. By the way, this has the added benefit of reminding people that you're an agent and you love it without it feeling like you're trying to sell them on something. You may also want to print out your own flyers. And if you're planning on doing only one open house a week, definitely create your own flyers, put your mug on there. It's worth the effort. But if you're planning on doing 2, 3, or even 4 on a weekend, I suggest using the flyers that the agent already has there and simply stapling your card to it. It's more cost and time effective when you're doing a lot of opens. All right, we've prepped. Now, here's a checklist of all the things you might need for an open house, and we're gonna link it in the attachment section below. I'm gonna pop through each of these individually fairly quickly. Here we go. First thing, sign-in sheet or personal notebook. I prefer the personal notebook. You're gonna have to either sign them in at the door or grab their info at some point, but it's really important that we have a way to capture their info. Flyers with a bio. As discussed, you're gonna need this or a stapler in your business cards. Open house signs. 4 to 6 signs to cover the entrances in the neighborhood, or 1 to 2 to cover the front street and the door. Buyer booklets. If you have a buyer booklet, you should bring 1 copy. Raffle or giveaway. Many agents have found that if they do 3 or 4 opens in a weekend, it's a very small thing to offer a Starbucks card giveaway each week, or even something bigger if you run the promotion for like a month. And it's really easy to say, hey, throw your card in that fishbowl for a chance to win. Nearby listings and open house data. You've got to bring 1 sheet of this and 1 sheet of all the other open houses and a CMA. You're gonna need your business cards, beverages and snacks really for yourself. You're gonna need a broom and dustpan. Houses get dirty. As an agent, you should always have these things also with you in a car. Toilet paper, room spray candle, Glade plugins are my favorite. And that's it. It's a lot. I recommend keeping a storage box with all the standard stuff you need. Here's what my storage box has. It has a stapler, cards, buyer booklets, TP, Glade plugins, and water for me. If there's something else that you feel like you need to bring every time, throw it in there. Okay, you're ready, it's game time. Let's do a quick breakdown of what the schedule might look like. First things first, always arrive 30 minutes before start time. This gives you time to do everything that you need to do. Before placing your signage, you're gonna wanna make sure the house is prepped. That means house is clean, swept, all lights are on, inside and out. Flyers are either switched out for yours, or some of them have your card stapled to them. You're gonna close the toilet seats, remove garbage cans from view if needed, and then you're gonna neutralize all odors, so candles, spray. I don't like candles, just in case I'm klutz, so that's why I like Glade plugins. And then you're gonna wanna showcase the best amenities. Fireplace is on, jacuzzi's open, AC's on, etc. Now that the house is prepped, we're gonna place our open house signs just before start time. Front door should be cracked or open, or you can use the option of just placing the sign at the door so people know that they can walk in. You can also consider parking down the street to save space so that other people can park nearby. All right, so that's it. I know it seems like a lot, but honestly, besides placing signs, it should only take you about 5 minutes to walk through the house and get it prepped. Now, while we wait for clients, I wanna give you 2 more pro tips. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My very first open house was staged in the pictures, but not so much in real life. I'd committed to a 4-hour open house. By the way, now I recommend 2 to 3 hours tops. And there was nothing but an old hardware stairwell to sit on. And worse, no Wi-Fi. So tip number 1, check to see if it's staged. There's nothing wrong with bringing a folding chair. Tip number 2, bring a book, your laptop, or other work to do. You don't want to be bored for 4 hours. Okay, some clients just pulled up, so now I'm gonna walk you through how I will interact and how I train our agents to interact with clients, and I'll give you rationale throughout the process. There are 3 parts to conducting an open house. First, the intro. Second, the viewing, and finally, the value add. First up, when potential clients walk in, I do not immediately ask them to sign in, even if I have a sign-in book. I understand that there are a ton of scripts out there that tell you this is the best way to do it, but unfortunately, generally, they're gonna fall flat at best, or at worst, they're gonna ring untrue. Clients rarely ask us to make people sign in for security, so come on guys, let's stop telling our potential buyers that they do. Instead, I want you to introduce yourself. They're expecting a pitch or you to ask questions at this point, so instead, we introduce ourselves. We shake their hands, we high-five the kids, we ask them how the touring is going today, and we tell them that we're gonna be in the kitchen when they're done looking around and that we can talk then. Let me know if you have any questions as you look around, or maybe we tell them not to miss the bonus room upstairs. But besides that, we give them their space. They are thankful that you didn't do the same thing that every other agent has done to them so far, namely either been overbearing or hung out on their phone over in the corner. Now, we just have to show them how different we are. And phase 2 has started. They're touring the home, and we aren't badgering them. And that's it, that's phase 2, don't badger. Phase 3 starts, and either they're gonna ask you a question while they're touring, or when they're finishing up the tour, they're gonna come around the kitchen because they've avoided it because you've been in there. And now it's our turn to do a little discovery. Does this house fit the home that you're looking for? Let them talk. The main goal is simple. Discover what type of value that you can add. Maybe it's a list of other homes in the area that are having opens. You happen to have a list but only 1 copy, and you'd be happy to email that to them right now. Maybe you find out that they're first-time home buyers and they're just getting started. No, we aren't pre-approved yet. Perfect. I have a list of lenders that I've worked with and I really trust. Let me grab your email and I'll send you that list. This is where the sign-in sheet comes into play, or my personal favorite, my personal business journal. Here's a couple of more potential ways that you can add value, and honestly, this is just the beginning. Offer them a list of new construction in the area that's not listed on the MLS. Offer to show them other similar homes that don't have an open today. Offer to do a CMA so that they understand where this home sits in the overall market of homes in the area. Offer to send your buyer's guide to them via email. Or simply offer to help them with their search, since you know how hard it is to find the right one. Here's one more pro tip. When you feel you've discovered the perfect piece of value to add to the open house attendee, ask for their information like this. Hey, it sounds like it might be really helpful if I sent you a copy of my buyer's book. It'll help you get acquainted with the process. What's the best email to reach you at? And then I want you to hold this pose. If you have hit on the right piece of value, that works every time. Let it stretch. They'll give you their email. A couple more quick things. You may have noticed that I never asked if anyone had an agent. That's because they're gonna tell me if they're working with an agent closely, even if I don't ask. But if I do ask, many times they're just gonna say yes to keep me from prying. If you feel like you must ask, then ask after you've provided some value to them. This way, at least you'll know it's the truth. And finally, last thing, you should know that sometimes people at open houses won't want to engage with you. Maybe they have an agent, or they just don't want to be sold. It's no big deal, it's no stress. There are more fish in the sea. In fact, if you do one open house a weekend, but only pick up a client once a month, that's still 12 deals a year. As with all good things, it takes time plus consistency to rock the open house game. This week, I'd like for you to do two things. First, get a start on putting together your storage box. Having the supplies you will need makes a big difference, especially if you're going to an unstaged home and you need TP. Second, plan on an open house. Shoot for next weekend if you can. Use the tips I've provided and consistently and consciously work to add value in your interactions. I hope that I've shed a little bit of light on open houses and that you feel that you might be much more able to get out there and crush them. At the end of the day, the secret is twofold. Be valuable and ask for their number. Don't forget to ask for their number or email. We've had plenty of agents who say that they were struggling with open houses only to find out that they've never asked for people's info. You gotta buy the ticket to take the ride. So get out there, do an open house this next weekend, and rock it. We'll talk soon.